All right, so today I am in the Humboldt and Quill Lake area of Saskatchewan. I will be going by Mark Silzer's place. He and his brother-in-law Cecil have a company called Wolverine Bison. They raise some beautiful animals, replacement stock for a lot of ranchers. They've really done a good job at making sure they have some good plains bison genetics. And then I'll be headed over to Quill Lake, where I'm going to go to Quill Creek Farms, or Quill Creek Bison Ranch. It'll be exciting to kind of see what he has going on there.
My name's Mark Silzer. I'm an owner and partner in Wolverine Bison Company up in Humboldt, Saskatchewan, Canada, and past president of the Canadian Bison Association. Wolverine, got started back in 1994 is when the first animals arrived here on the ranch. We were pretty selective in what we were looking for at that time, and my partner Cease was very instrumental in looking at different bloodlines, and we sort of decided on one that caught our eye particularly, and so we built our operation around those genetics. When we have animals that are on a ranch setting, that aren't exposed to the natural predators that they would have in the wild, I think as ranch owners, that becomes our responsibility then to make sure that, number one, that these animals are structurally sound, their conformation is good, and if they're not, then those need to be removed. And I think that as private ranchers, we have to do a better job of making sure that we're doing the best for the animal. And so what we try to select for is we know what a typical plains animal should look like. So we want to maintain that. And so be it the shape of the hump, the back line, we'll look at. Legs we're very critical on, because I think that that's a component that often is overlooked. Could they survive on larger landscapes or rougher landscapes like they did historically? And so that's what we're looking for. And then we're looking for, an animal that's carrying good muscling, good depth, good width. And I think that naturally that's where the bison were at one point. And then through the bottlenecks, and not paying as close of attention as we could, and in some respects we couldn't, because we were breeding everything. We were trying to get the numbers up. And so in doing that, we did manage to establish the numbers and move the public or the private herds up. But I think that now we got to start paying more attention to detail in what should this animal look like structurally, and then make sure that we introduce those traits. I think the bison themselves, it's a modern day conservation story. When you look at the bottleneck and the few animals that were there were a number of animals that existed in public herds, in parks, some in Canada, some in the US. But the real development from the conservation standpoint has been the private rancher. I mean, our access to land has moved us to where, we've got somewhere between 400 and 500,000 head that are held privately, where there's probably 20,000 head in public herds across the country. And it's not only that we're preserving the bison. I think that we have to take a look at a lot of those ranches have, in some cases, have taken what was once cultivated ground, reintroduced it back into permanent cover. you know, where there's other species that interact with the bison. And I think that's been a real success story. And I think as we continue to grow it, the private sector has access to acres that as the market for bison develops, that can be turned in and used for raising bison, and again take, you know, what was once cultivated land or other range land, and then run bison on it. And we know the benefits, you know, through carbon sequestration, all the other benefits that come from having grazing animals in North America.
So I just left Mark Silzer's, and now I'm on my way to Quill Creek Bison Ranch, which is owned by the Griller family, Doug Griller. So Doug has on his property, he has his own small little slaughterhouse where they can butcher just about anything for local farmers, and they have they do hogs, they do cattle, so that's pretty cool when you can kind of see the cow right next to a bison on the hanger. One of the things you'll notice is that the bison has a little less fat. Bison just has a little more flavor to it. It's not gamey, it just has more flavor to it, and that, I think that's because a lot of the flavor in beef is coming from the fat, whereas a lot of the flavor in bison is coming from the meat. I like them both, I eat them both, but if I had my choice, I'd go with bison.